You are watching ACC Network Extra. Charlottesville has not been spared by the frigid temperatures sweeping the nation, but two of this nation's top wrestling outfits have braved the wintry weather to meet in a dynamite ACC dual meet this evening. And we come to you mat side. Zealand Shannon alongside former Michigan State wrestler, the illustrious Christian Olenowski. This is a matchup of two very good teams in a very good conference, but it's been NC State's conference the last year and a half.
Yeah, NC State fourth place finish last year at the NCAA championships in Cleveland, Ohio. Looking to replicate that success this year in Pittsburgh, but tonight they got a tough task in front of them with the UVA Cavaliers.
It is going to be a very tough task because there are a couple of matchups in this particular dual meet that are going to challenge NC State in a couple of positions. What are those matchups, Christian? What are we looking out for?
Really, what we were expecting at 125, we're going to see at 133. Sean Faust expected to wrestle up a weight class today at 133 against Louis Hayes from Virginia. Then we're going to go to the light heavyweights, 197 pounds. We'll have two top 20 wrestlers taking on each other, Jay Aiello and Malik McDonald at 197 pounds.
Coach Papalizzo on the NC State side, he has done wonders since coming over from Binghamton in 2013. He's got a Coach of the Year to his name.
Yeah, Coach Papalizzo done an incredible job in such a short amount of time, turning this program around from, essentially last place in the ACC, and look at him now, top of the reins in the ACC and fourth place finish last year.
To 53 straight weeks in the top 10 of the coaches poll. On the Virginia side, it's Steve Garland. He's been with the Cavaliers for now 12 seasons and has a top 25 program on his hands.
Yeah, and Coach Garland has done an incredible job, what he's done for these athletes, and not just as a coach, but as a mentor for these athletes. A lot of people always talk about what UVA brings to these student athletes getting out of school. Most of them have a master's degree from an amazing institution.
We are starting up at 125 today, so we'll be running the gamut from the lightest to the heaviest, the traditional way of going forward, it must be. And Virginia favored here for sure.
125-pound All-American right in on the leg of Zurich Storm. Zurich Storm, a redshirt freshman here for the Wolfpack.
It's Jack Mueller, of course, for Virginia. He's in the steel. Zurich Storm, despite not being Faust, has a lot of experience, but he's in trouble.
Sweet over-collar tie by Jack Mueller, and this is where Jack makes his money. He's so tough on top, got that left boot in, and he's looking to go to work right away.
And Mueller just 11-0 this season, just missed a lot of time with a trip to Worlds, the U23 Worlds.
And Mueller's looking for a fall. He's got a power half on the right side. Punch that through, and he's going to get 4 near fall, take a 6-0 lead 45 seconds into the bout.
A lot of fight from Zurich Storm. He was in a bad way in that position.
Yeah, Zurich Storm did a really good job bellying out, getting that arm free, and Mueller going to work on that power half again. And if I'm a betting man, he's going to get the fall before the end of this match.
Well, Storm able to roll through and has registered his first point via escape.
So Mueller looked like he was going to get some near fall there, but Storm did a good job of wiggling his way out, getting the escape point. Instead of 8-0, we're looking at 6-1 now, so a heck of a lot easier to manage that one. And as I say that, Mueller in on a nice lefty single leg, takes him down and gets that left boot in right away.
Mueller's able to navigate himself into such a dominant position on top so quickly, and he's going for the pin again.
Punching that power half once again, gets it on the right side, punches, and if he extends his arm here, it's going to be danger for Storm. Doing a good job fighting, but Mueller, tough as they come on top. Led the nation in tech falls as a true freshman for the Cavaliers. He's got a 12-0 lead just 2 minutes into this bout.
He does have 11 wins I mentioned on the year. 3 of those already have been tech falls.
And the crowd piling in here into Memorial Gym. It's going to be a fun one here as we're packing the stands. UVA looking to get a little bit of home field advantage against a very tough Wolfpack team. And Mueller could get the tech fall in the first period here, and that's going to be it. I believe the official counted to 4. And there we are, 16-1 in just 2.5 minutes.
Exactly what we expected from the ACC runner-up from last season, the All-American, one of 2 of Virginia last year. And he is living up to the billing.
And that's a tall task to ask a freshman to come out against an All-American who's tougher than they come on top. And a matchup we were hoping for at 25 shifts a little bit to 133. This will be a fun one here at 133 pounds.
We were expecting to see Tariq Wilson, or maybe because he was going to be coming back from the injury, but it's Faust who can wrestle at 125, but it's a very, very difficult trip down to that weight for him. Now he's going up against Louis Hayes, so he's gone up in weight, and he's taking on another very tough wrestler in Louis Hayes.
Yeah, Louis Hayes had a great freshman campaign, was what many people believe to be almost an undersized 125 pounder. As a freshman, you could tell he's gotten noticeably bigger since last season and really starting to fill into this 133 pound weight class. And Faust, a 125 pounder, usually looks the part of 133 today.
He's still taller than his opponent, who's been wrestling the 133 all year.
And Faust got that body lock, and he's got to make sure he unlocks his hands here. He does, comes up to that whizzer, and he's trying to throw that far boot in. The UVA coaching staff throws the brick. So we're going to see an official review here, and the time frame that it takes for these guys go out of bounds. So clock's 2 minutes. We're going to get an official review from the coaches challenge, and the officials talking it over, so maybe they will overturn the call without the challenge.
What are they going to be looking for here?
Yeah, so I mean, I'm a little concerned, kind of with what the officials will look for. He looked like he kind of had control. He was kind of behind. He had his hands locked. And the officials are picking up the brick, so it looks as if they are going to honor the challenge. We'll see. Okay, so the officials give Coach Garland the brick back, and they're going to look at it on their own.
Faust, the top 15 wrestler at 125. Louis Hayes is 26th in the coaches poll, 23rd in track wrestling at 133. So it's tough to quantify what Faust is going to be capable of here, but when you're only moving up 8 pounds, and for someone like Faust that carries a lot of weight for 125, this isn't necessarily a huge jump up in competition.
Yeah, well, Faust is really, I mean, you look at the guy, 133 pounder, he's just, with the depth of NC State, they have All-American Tariq Wilson at 133, so what's best for the team, really just kind of shows the type of person Sean Faust is. Really works very hard to get down to 125. But, like kind of said, he's really more of a natural 133 pounder. Second place at the U23 World Championships at 132 pounds, 61 kilograms. So Faust is all the part of a 133 pounder if it weren't for Tariq Wilson at.
We're really stuck into this review now, and you were talking about it earlier, but now you get a second chance to look, and it's particularly earlier. It looks like they're going to go back to it. What do you see?
It looks like they're probably going to wave this takedown off because Faust never got that far leg in. He never got across to cover the far hip. I don't think they're going to, pardon me, I believe they will overturn this call. We're going to start back on our feet. But I've been wrong before when it comes to official reviews.
I feel like everybody's wrong a few times here and there because everybody's going to see it differently. And they're going to reset the clock to 2:19, which means that's what we just have heard. So that means that they're going to come back and stand him up, and I don't think they're going to give.
But
that's what's being announced is the points being taken off, which it sounds like that's where you were leaning.
Yeah, and it was close to a takedown, but maybe it was a bit premature. And, the way the NCAA rules work is the challenge goes back to the point where the coach threw the brick. So, really that decides where the sequence of challenging the call begins. So we're going to go back to our feet. 0-0, 2:19 in the first period, and a right side underhook for Louis Hayes. And a beautiful Zeke sweep by Sean Faust. Looking to bring this leg up. Another whizzer. Faust is going to try to throw this far boot in, and Hayes passes. High head's going to win here. Hayes has to get his head up. Faust looking to come behind, drops to the leg. Does a really great job transitioning. Now he's getting Hayes' foot high, and it's going to be hard for him not to finish at this point.
Faust was chomping at the bit during that review. He was calm, collected, staring across the mat. He's been ready since it restarted.
Yeah, and he's probably, feeling pretty good right now, wrestling a few pounds up, not having to get a significant workout to cut the weight before the bout, and a great scramble still going on here. Both guys still looking to score. Hayes doing a good job scrambling, getting his head up, but
it's one of the more interpretive exchanges you will see.
And Fowles looking to cut that corner, scooting, and he gets that foot hooked, and they're going to give the takedown. And he sucks him back, but Hayes could. Oh, and the NC State coaches getting fired up over there by that no call. Could have been close to near fall, but no cigar on that one.
He's able to scramble out of it too quickly.
Yeah, and this is where the length of Fowles really favors him. When they get to the mat, those long legs, he's able to get Hayes extended and stretched out.
But you figure Hayes is a guy that wrestled 125 last year. He's a small 133. He's used to facing people that are going to be longer than him.
Yeah, and he just, what we missed there was a stall call. Official warned Hayes for stalling, and if Fowles rides out this period, we're going to be close to that riding time, or we will be over that 1 point riding time advantage, just getting to that 1 minute mark. And this is where Fowles really wears on his opponents, just kind of rides them on top, and he's like a leech with those long legs. Or should I say a praying mantis?
Whole number of animal kingdom examples for Sean Fowles, but he is in control after the opening period.
A 2-0 lead for Fowles, and that was a great scramble. Really didn't know until the end who was going to come out on top.
Fowles not a guy, because of the struggles to cut weight, and you have Tariq at 133 that gets to wrestle a lot this year. This is just his 9th. He, of course, had also with Mueller for Virginia at the U23 Worlds that takes away the beginning part of the season.
Yeah, very limited in action so far. Like you mentioned, kind of had that freestyle circuit still going on. Hayes has that chin and the underhook. Fowles does a good job clearing action. But, over the last few years, Sean Fowles, 19 matches last season at 125 pounds, and a beautiful underhook to a throw by. Louis Hayes in deep on a single leg, looking to shelf that up, and Fowles using his length to cut the corner, scooting. Does that crotch lift, looking for that danger rule. And this match right here with this high-level scrambling, worth the price of admission.
I feel like half the match has been spent just rolling around the center third.
Yeah, both these guys, really great defense. They're very aware of their positioning, and now they're, getting back to action on their feet. Heavy snap by Fowles.
Who's got the advantage when they're both standing? Would you figure it's Hayes if he can get inside?
I think they're relatively even. You see that first takedown that was waved off go to Fowles, but, he gets in, and a heavy club by Hayes. Those clubs are going to pay dividends to Hayes come the third period when Fowles' lungs are starting to get worn out. Relatively, even here in this bout so far, although Fowles a 3-0 lead.
Type of bout that's going to hinge on one or two moments for either of these wrestlers, but Fowles has built himself something to stand on.
I'm very curious what Louis Hayes' choice is here, and a nice lefty high crotch looking to swim. But Fowles doing a good job trying to scoot the corner, crotch lock situation. Louis Hayes steps over looking for a takedown at the end of the period. And Fowles doing a good job rolling through, nothing.
Oh my, the appeal from the Virginia bench. I would be shocked if we didn't see a challenge.
And Coach Paulson looking a little trigger happy over there with the brick. He looked like he wanted to throw it.
There it goes.
There it was.
That happened right in front of the Virginia bench, and it looked like towards the end Louis Hayes might have had it.
I'm not a huge fan of that challenge. I don't think it was close to a takedown because you see Louis Hayes kind of step big, look for that to hook that near foot. But he kind of whiffed on it. So I don't think this call will be overturned. I don't know exactly if they're trying to challenge a takedown or if Faust was in the danger zone. So we'll see as the review comes in. But right now, I think that challenge, kind of looks like UVA just burned that challenge, in my opinion.
What do you think, regardless of the outcome of the challenge, that sort of exchange does for the momentum going into the final period where we're going to get Hayes with his turn on top?
Yeah, well, so that's a great point. I think it gives Hayes a lot of momentum, right? He gets in deep. He's inches away from finishing, and, so here we are. Hayes in on that lefty high crotch. Faust trying to scoot the corner. Hayes is going to kip over. Crossface with the left hand, steps through, but look with that right foot, he's trying to hook and he misses as Faust passes that leg. That's why we're not going to see a takedown here.
Excellent composure from Faust when it all seemed to be going against him, and Hayes was powering into the moves that he wanted to get to roll out. It's almost like he knew he had just a couple of seconds to kill.
Yeah, and he knew as Hayes was stepping that he had the momentum to roll through. So as I anticipated, Hayes picks neutral to start the third. He needs 2 takedowns to send this one to overtime. And Faust looks like he's a little bit more tired than Hayes is.
I think 2 takedowns might just carry it because that riding time's gone down to 58 seconds. This is an excellent opportunity for Hayes, but again, the defense from Faust is fantastic.
And this is where Faust's length plays an advantage for him, the leverage. Now Louis Hayes passes the leg in on a low single. He's got to get his head up. He's got the leg split. He wants this right foot to hook Faust's foot, but he pops up the middle in this low lift position here, and this is where Faust has that arm trap. This is dangerous for Hayes. He's looking for almost a jiu-jitsu hold, and we're in the danger zone here. Officials not calling it yet. Close.
The NC State bench is wanting a near fall, it seems. Both benches are up in arms about calls they feel should be being made, and that's when you know you got a really good match on your hands.
And Hayes looking for a takedown here, doing a good job as Faust defending.
Faust just keeping those arms in between Hayes' legs. What does Hayes need to do to break out?
Hayes needs to circle to his left and swim towards that far hip, and Faust looking to scoot the corner again and roll through, hooks that foot. Great scramble by both guys. And you gotta think that Sean Faust's teammate from Campbell County, Kentucky, Garth Yenter, taught him that one, the pride of Campbell County.
The fact that Faust has not conceded a single point in this match, very impressive. This felt even the whole way, but Faust knew how to make the decisive moves.
And that's where you see the top programs win these matches. They win the small positions, they win the scrambles, they finish periods on top, and they score towards the end of periods. So that was a great bout for Faust. Won all 3 positions, won it on the mat, and the difference there, 2 takedowns. Going to cut this margin for UVA down to 2.
Not just what head coach Pat Papalizio can do for you, really. Drilling that into Faust.
Yeah, really, really great bout by Faust. Moving up a weight class, feeling healthy, refreshed, not sucked out. And you see it paid dividends in the third period.
Virginia's going to have the team lead, but the All-American for Virginia have fired the golden bullet, won by tech fall, but it's Faust that knocks off Louis Hayes at 1:33. We're going to take our first break. Matt Side in Charlottesville. Be right back on ACC Network Extra. Welcome back to Charlottesville. Virginia up 5-3. Mueller with the tech fall and a Faust carrying at 1:33. So we didn't get the Mueller-Faust matchup, but Faust getting the better of Hayes, and we motor right along to 1:41. And this is, we weren't sure if we were going to see Sam Krivas for Virginia. He's been a little sick, but here he is, ready to go up against a fifth-year senior on the NC State side.
This is really an important matchup for both teams. Close bout here through two individual matchups. Right now, 141, a huge swing match for this duel. So both teams looking to claim this one here. And a quick takedown for Morris. 5 seconds into the bout.
And Jamel Morris, this is his first year as a starter and his 5th year at the program. Hard work paying off. He's 26th in the coaches poll right now. Krivas is 19th. You wouldn't be able to tell that from the way the first 10 seconds went.
Well, you know what I really liked about Morris, he smelled blood in the water right away. He was aggressive and relentless. He went out and attacked. Had no concern what his opponent was going to do off the whistle. He went right for that first takedown.
You can tell it made Krivas a little edgy, perhaps. He gets a caution on the restart.
Yep, so Krivas back to his feet quick. Only 12 seconds of riding time for Morris.
What did you see in that takedown that might make Krivas worried that Morris could get him to the deck so quickly?
You know what? I think Krivas needs to do a better job of keeping his hands down. You see him doing that now. He's well aware of the reach advantage that Morris has. You know, it looks to me, Matt's side here, that Morris has probably about 3 to 4 inches on Krivas. So that length playing an advantage early in this bout.
141 has not been a powerhouse location up until Jamel Morris has taken the reins. He's 4-0 since taking over as the starter for his brother, Jamal.
Yeah, a little bit of sibling rivalry to figure out who was going to be the 41-pounder for NC State, but it looks like it's been determined. Looks like Jamel going to hold the spot for the Wolfpack. An incredible statistic, 19 national qualifiers over the last 2 seasons. 9 in 2018, and qualified all 10 wrestlers to the NCAA championships in 2016.
Stupendous, I believe, is the word.
Yep, Coach Popolizio done a fantastic job with this program. 4th place in the nation last year. And while this team doesn't provide the firepower that the 2018 team did, a very, very talented Wolfpack roster we have here in Cavalier this evening.
The different type of talent. Someone like Jamel Morris that had to work essentially as a practice wrestler through his first 4 years for this opportunity. I think that says a lot about a program.
Oh, absolutely. And for Coach Popolizio, you know, those are the guys that he wants in his program here. The guys who are going to, you know, be in the room grinding every day, trying to make a difference in the program. You know, and this is a good bout here so far. Haven't seen really much action by either guy since that initial exchange 5 seconds into the bout, but Krivas starting to get his fakes going now. And
we've talked a lot about Jamel Morris. Krivas, the flip side of that coin, came out of his redshirt season as a redshirt freshman, qualified for the NCAAs, and was 3rd place in the ACC. He was 3rd place in the ACC again last year. This is a guy with a pedigree who does a lot of things for Virginia and's been around for kind of a resurgence the last couple of years.
Yeah, and Krivas, you know, he looks a little bit more natural at this weight class. He was at 149 the last 2 years, and most people thought, you know, kind of coming into the season he'd be sucked out, but so far through this bout he looks pretty healthy to me. But no doctor am I.
A wrestler, though, you are. 2-1 after the opening period, and it will be Krivas on top.
Krivas had choice to start the period, defers his choice to the 3rd, where Morris chooses bottom. And a Pennsylvania boy is Krivas. Probably looking to cut down on this riding time here in this bout.
Well, you get that 2nd and 3rd period. You do have the opportunity, if you can stay on top for more than a minute, to just pick up that point of riding time, which would give Krivas a dead even on the score. And Morris, despite his best efforts, can't seem to break the arms right now.
I'm going to see a stall call here, and as I'm saying that, the official warns Krivas for stalling, gives Morris an escape. Now looking for a takedown on the edge, but out of the cylinder they go. We're going to start back up on our feet.
It was so close. Jamel Morris trying to drag the toe so that he could attempt to finish the takedown with his hands, but he was not able to.
And Morris, you know, not a ton of real estate on the edge there, was looking to lift that foot, bring it back to the center, but his toe slid out of the cylinder. Both these wrestlers controlling the center of the bout now. 3-1 lead for Morris halfway through the 2nd period.
It does seem to be something of a stalemate. We thought we might see more flurries after the opening 10 seconds provided the majority of the points we've seen scored, but it just hasn't been the case.
And we hear Coach Adam Hall in the corner saying one exchange changes the match here, Jamel. One exchange, and that's the difference here. For Krivas, he gets a takedown. We're tied. A takedown for Morris, a 4-point lead. And Krivas really needs to pick up the pace because UVA could use the momentum going into 149 where we got back-to-back All-Americans coming up for the Wolfpack.
And Virginia, essentially, as the 23rd team in the country, needs to take all of the swing matches like this one if it wants to win this dual meet. It cannot let these points slip away.
Yeah, especially if we're going to see, oh my gosh, a beautiful re-attack textbook. Not the best shot for Krivas. Down block by Morris, circles behind, and gets the takedown.
And with just 5 seconds left.
As I mentioned in the last bout, why teams like NC State are great. Finishing the period on top. So important in these bouts to not allow Krivas to get that escape. You know, essentially a 3-point turn.
That makes the calculus very difficult for Krivas. He would need to escape, take down, and then use the riding time if he still has it to try and force extra rounds.
Yeah, or 2 takedowns in the third period. But a lot of work is required for the cards to go in Krivas' favor. Now Morris drops to the leg, and the official not counting that as Morris was working up. Now looking for a turn on the edge. And now,
oh my goodness! Well, they've left the cylinder, but Morris, he's been able to stay in with the foot in the air. That was a really close call for Krivas.
Yeah, great job by Morris catching that far wrist, tucking his head and his elbow, rolling through, getting that cross wrist tilt, picking up 4 near fall. Now the UVA coaching.
If that 4 near fall's been given, it hasn't been thrown on the scoreboard yet. But you figure with the way it's going, 55 seconds left, Morris isn't going to need it. The only reason he would need it is if he can pick up the riding time and he gets the 4 for near fall. He has a chance for a major decision.
Yeah, well, he's got it locked up right now, 8 seconds away from getting riding time. And Krivas got to get to his feet and start working something. Haven't seen a ton of committed attacks, really, where we have seen Krivas try. It's unfortunate Morris's defense was a little bit better than Krivas' offense.
Well, you mentioned Krivas had the attack just at the end of the second period, but it didn't go well for him. So the passive play seems to have been the safest from that we saw for most of the first period. This is an upset in the coaches' rankings.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you know, maybe an upset in the coaches' rankings, but to the common fan here, knowing these guys are just about even coming into this bout, Coach Garland giving the official a bit of his, you know, a little bit of something in his ear, getting the officials to talk. I'm not exactly sure what he was looking for. Maybe some additional time back on the clock, but
questioning official on green.
Neither of these coaches or coaching staffs, or very few coaching staffs in the entire sport of wrestling, keep their mind to themselves very often when you get into these dual meets.
Absolutely not. And you're going to see. I don't think that's going to be the last time we see the coaches get a little bit chippy with the officials in this bout today.
Coach Garland's already lost the jacket. Cold outside, but warm in here. Final 42 seconds, and Krivas is just trying to avoid giving up a major decision. If it's Morris, he just has to stay on top.
Yeah, and I really think this is a statement win for Morris today. You know, he's had some good wins in his career, but this one right now going to be huge for his confidence heading towards March, especially a bonus point victory.
4-0 since being inserted into the starting lineup, but this, the toughest task he's faced to take on Krivas, and he's passed that test.
And as they were going towards the edge, Krivas looks back, kind of looks for a little bit of a throw, but no room on the blue portion of the mat to be wrestling, so heading back to the center. Nice for the fans to ooh and ah, but a second caution for Krivas. Next one's going to be a point.
Clock already started, so they're going to reset the clock, I believe, to 14 seconds.
Yeah, somewhere in that 12 to 14 second range. 13.
Sounds right. That's what Krivas has to try and get up.
And Krivas probably not looking for an escape here. He's looking for a reversal.
But with the riding time, that's
And
what he
he
needs,
gets
and he
it.
has it.
And although Morris is going to win this bout, that is a moral victory for UVA, eliminating the bonus point, and as I mentioned, finishing the period on top. Extremely important. And Morris trying to throw that boot in on the right side. Krivas catches it, turns in, hip heist, gets that reversal. So that's a huge reversal. And although Morris is the victor in that bout, UVA gets a moral victory, and that one eliminates the bonus point. Instead of 4, we're going to see 3 points for the Wolfpack.
That puts it 6-5 NC State. You mentioned this is murderer's row when you talk about what Virginia's looking at. First, going up against the transfer Justin Oliver is Michael Murphy for Virginia. He'll have the home fans behind him, but this is a tough one.
Yeah, and a beautiful shot early by Justin Oliver, a transfer who was an All-American as a freshman for Central Michigan, making his way from Mount Pleasant to Raleigh.
And the graduate students 9-3 in dual meets this year. Michael Murphy is 5-9 in dual meets this year. He's not ranked in the NCAA, the coaches poll or flow or any other ranking system. So it's a weak spot in the lineup for Virginia, and for NC State, it's a strength.
Yeah, and this is where NC State is really looking to capitalize here, look for some bonus points. Justin Oliver, a tough cookie on top, looking for that Jack Mueller-esque power half on the right side, and wasn't able to punch his arm through as Murphy tried to wiggle his way out. So we're going to have some blood time stopping here. Official's going to give us a little bit of a break in action.
It's a bit of a respite for Michael Murphy, because that seemed the start of the type of matchup we saw go the other direction at 125 pounds, where Mueller was on top. But now it's going to be Murphy who's going to be on the bottom. He gets to catch a bit of a break. This is what's happening to Virginia, though, happened to a lot of ACC foes so far. These last 2 years, NC State has been dominant. We mentioned it right before things got going.
Yeah, won their last 14 of 16 ACC duels in the last 4 years. They've won 6 straight now, and looking to make it 7 here today in Charlottesville. Murphy to his feet, and as we saw in his last outing at home against Ohio, bottom the weak spot for Murphy as he got ridden pretty hard against the Bobcats on January 20th.
Now the loss to Cade Kowalski came in a minor decision, 7-3.
And Murphy back to his feet, trips him, does Oliver. And as you're racking up this riding time here, you start to question how easily could Oliver take him down again. But looking for that power half on the right side.
That is the debate. You want to go for a pin, or do you want to go for the tech fault? Because how easily Oliver took him down to start, you figure if he just kept letting him up and taking him down again, he could get pretty high pretty fast.
Yeah, absolutely. And as you start to take a guy down 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times, you start to wear on him mentally, right? You start to get beat up on a little bit, and you start to have doubts, and you go to dark places in your mind as someone starts to beat up on you like that. So
you've never been there before, right?
Not that anybody knows about. So Oliver's going to let Murphy out and back to their feet. Let's not focus on my career, but these guys and the task at hand.
Justin Oliver, just a surgeon right now. He's closed the distance, and Murphy had both of his arms in Oliver's control for a moment.
Oliver, a product of Davison, Michigan, where we've seen national champions like Paul Donahoe and John Reeder and Brent Metcalf. Just incredible program. We
Davison
see
High
Coach
School,
Hall,
yeah.
And a nice swing single. Jacks that leg up and trips Murphy down for another takedown, and Murphy looks to be conceding defeat here in the first period.
Now the score of 4-1. The 2 minutes of riding time should be unassailable for the remainder.
And Oliver going to start bottom to start the second period. 4-1 lead he has in 2 minutes and 12 seconds of riding time. Repping the 2-1-2. What is that, New York City?
I mean, you're better than me. I know 2 area codes, I think, in my entirety. Talk about worldly experience.
So Murphy, I think this is a position that he can hope is an advantage for him, but Oliver gets to his feet, not getting his hips out, but gets his butt back, and Murphy lets him out. And a nice shot by Murphy, keeps that overhook, does Oliver.
A lot of credit for not being mentally defeated, Murphy, still looking to go on the offensive.
Yeah, and these guys have made it to, the top of, athletic competition, wrestling Division I, and a nice double leg for Justin Oliver, and Murphy looking to pass that leg, and we're in the danger zone. The official's going to call, and that's where that unfortunate challenge from UVA at 133 comes into play. Coaches have no say in that takedown there.
A reminder, you got to get it up to 8 points for the major decision, and that's now 1 takedown away. That'd be quite the challenge to get to the tech fall as well, so you figure the strategy shifts to just looking for the pin once he gets 1 more takedown, Justin Oliver.
Yeah, well, we'll see. One set of near fall really changes the bout extremely quickly, and Oliver looked like in that first period he was pretty close to turning Murphy a couple times, so we'll see what happens here if Oliver looks to finish the period on top or go for another takedown.
Seems to be intent to stay on top for now.
Nice changeover for Murphy, but at this level of competition, you got to put 2 and 3 and 4 moves together on bottom to even get close to getting to your feet. But great pressure on top for Oliver. Got that forearm on the back of Murphy's head.
Been able to hook onto the hip of Murphy, trying to roll him over in these final 5 seconds, but the clock, the enemy of Justin Oliver, and the graduate student's going to have 1 more period to try and end this affair early. It's 7-1 right now. An extra point given, so we're going to take that to 9-1 with the riding time. So the major decision already there for Oliver. This final period is going to be a battle for momentum, as if you're Murphy, you're trying to give your team some juice by doing what Krivas just did, avoiding the major decision.
Yeah, especially with Hidley coming up next. Oliver awarded a 1 point at the end of the second period for the second stall call. Murphy to his feet very quickly. Jacks up that lefty underhook. Clears it, does Oliver. He's got a heavy club on the right into a single leg on the left. Looking to elevate the left foot of Murphy. Steps over.
It's taken Murphy to Splitsville, but the defense has held out. Now he's hooked on that other leg, and that should be it.
Yeah,
right?
and Oliver's got to turn his right hip down. Gets it, gets the takedown, and Murphy looking for a reversal here. A little bit of spaghetti wrestling got going on here.
Flexibility not in question, as Murphy has found himself in a positive position. Seemed almost surprised, but here he is trying to hold it through.
And Oliver doing a good job retaining riding time as Murphy looks for a reversal. Holding on to the left foot is Oliver. That's why we haven't been awarded. And Coach Hall on the sideline looking for a stalemate. He doesn't want nothing. He wants no part in Murphy getting any points here. And
Oliver lost the grip.
Oliver loses his foot. Official awards the 1 point escape, and close to a takedown was Murphy from that exchange. A shot.
Had to go for it to try and avoid the major decision.
Doesn't get to his feet, so Oliver able to get the angle, get behind.
Final 30 seconds. And it looks as though Oliver is content almost with the major decision, which would give NC State a double-up lead after Virginia opened strong in the 125s. From what we've seen so far, has it gone how you would have expected it?
Yeah, I was a little, coming into the bout with Mueller and Faust being the marquee matchup starting the duel out. With the changes we saw, to NC State's roster, I couldn't really have predicted this bout so far, but, great action by both teams, not hesitating to try to score points, and that's all us as casual fans can hope for.
It's polished off by Oliver. The Central Michigan transfer, the 3-time NCAA qualifier, does his duty against Michael Murphy of Lookout Mountain, Tennessee, and gives NC State a major decision and a 10-5 lead over Virginia, the home team. We will be back in Charlottesville after this on ACC Network Extra. ESPN and the ACC bring you ACC Network coming August 2019. 15 universities all on one network. Visit getaccn.com to learn more. Going to be a very exciting time for the ACC. Its own television channel kicks off August 29th in the football season. Clemson and Georgia Tech. And it'll also have plenty of fantastic wrestling, which we've been treated to so far. Now Jake Keating of Virginia, but the main show at 157 is Hayden Hidley.
And you don't have to tell me twice that I get to watch some extra wrestling. I'll be on the ACC Network all day. So up here at 157 pounds with returning NCAA finalist Hayden Mug Dog Hidley. He always looks like he's ready to beat someone up. Got that mean look on his face, and a quick takedown for him 30 seconds into the bout.
And the Mud Dog wasting no time. Keating's not a pushover. He's 24th in the coaches poll.
And wow, a great job by Hidley keeping that left foot in bounds, getting the 4-point near fall. And you see NC State making their money on top with that cross wrist tilt. 2 of the 5 bouts so far, they've scored near fall on the edge. And that's a huge piece of this duel. Wrestling on the mat. But the thing I love about Keating, a beautiful low single for him in the hips of the Mug Dog. Oh my gosh, and a great re-attack by Hayden Hidley.
Hidley, the third member of 3, 2 for NC State. Faust and Hidley and Mueller for Virginia that all went to those under-23 Worlds. So Hidley, even though it doesn't look like it, he also had a delayed start to his season. It's interesting to see all 3 of them back and in stride. But of course, they were competing against the best in the world under 23.
Yeah, and Hidley, a lot of people kind of concerned coming into the, into the season where he took an early season loss to Larry Early of Old Dominion. But the thing is, he was training freestyle all summer, going to train against the Russians and, competing with our nation's best to make world team. So U.S. Open finalist as a freshman in college, made the U23 world team where unfortunately ran into a Russian who's one of the best seniors in the world.
Well, that's just bad luck when you're talking about him being your exact weight and also available for the U23s.
Yeah, exactly. And those Russians never know how old they are competing at the U23s, but a stall warning against Keating. And Hidley dominating this match so far, but the thing I love watching Jake Keating is you never know when the heck the fireworks are going to start going off.
There was a stupendous result you were talking about when we were meeting earlier today that Keating was able to pull off, so you can't count him out.
Yeah, at the Virginia duels, he was losing 14-0 to Lockhaven, was getting ready to get turned, reaches back, catches the guy's head, and pins him. So Keating never out of a bout.
That's the biggest possible comeback you can have in a wrestling match. 1 point from a tech fall against you, and you just go ahead and pin him. So I'm sure that's something that's been relayed to Hayden Hidley, that look, Keating, you might be able to run him around the mat 99% of the time, but he has a very deep bag of tricks.
Yeah, well, you look at guys like Hidley, been successful at really every level he's competed at. A product of Mifflin County High School, Lewistown, Pennsylvania. A beautiful cross wrist tilt, reinforces it with that bar.
Throw up 2 more points, and we're already at major decision territory after the opening period.
And another 2-point turn in that period. 8-1 lead for Hidley with 2 minutes and 20 seconds of riding time. Heading into our second stanza here.
Mentioned the poor early result for Hidley. He's turned it around over the course of the season. He's 2-2 against top 10 wrestlers.
You know, some people, the casual fan, might look at it and say, wow, Hidley lost 2 matches this year. After the results he had as a freshman, only loss coming in the NCAA finals. A nice swing single, beautiful re-attack for Keating. Holy smokes, and another attack for Hidley. He ain't gonna stop coming at him. Got that shelved up on that inside leg and jacks it up. Big trip for Hidley, gonna finish on the edge here, but he doesn't drag that toe within the cylinder. As I was saying, you know, the 2 losses that Hidley have, both the top 10 guys, Tyler Berger, Larry Early, both incredible wrestlers, and a beautiful lefty high crotch. Could not have been more textbook by Hidley. Beautiful chop on the right side, looking to catch that cross wrist.
Something to be said for Keating. He's certainly not lost the heart. He has a look of determination leading to that one attack he landed. But Hayden Hidley, he just seems like he's in a different world sometimes.
Yeah, well, he's competed against the best in the world, you know, across every level, making waves at the senior world team trials, making the U.S. Open finals, you know, making the finals of the U23 world team trials, where he eventually defeated Northwestern's Ryan Deacon, who is the nation's 3rd ranked 157-pounder, right ahead of Hidley right now.
And you were talking about the transition from freestyle to coming back to wrestling in college, and that sounds, oh yeah, you have to, it's all wrestling, right? But that's a pretty big transition to make.
Well, wrestling's wrestling, right? You know, one thing a lot of people have argued over the years is transitioning NCAA wrestling to freestyle so that we're more prepared postgraduate, but you know, no shortage of action by both of these guys. Keating, you could tell he's very aware of the situation here, needs to get some, you know, maybe some near fall here or something. Looking for that upper body tie to end the second period.
He has managed to close it down to what, if it ended right now, would be a minor decision, but in order to see out the current score line, he'd need to hold that top position, and Keating's just too explosive a wrestler to just sit there and hold anything.
Yeah, well, I don't think Hidley's going to shut down in this third period, right? He's been moving forward the whole time. He's been trying to score, so, you know, one takedown will give him the major decision. I stand corrected. If the match were to end right now, he would have the major decision, tack on that riding time point. And heavy clubs by both these guys.
Yeah, 235, so that's not something Keating's going to be able to chip at.
Yeah, insurmountable lead or insurmountable riding time point now. Cross ankle pick for Hidley, re-attack for Keating. Over-under position for these guys.
Keating had a chance, just a flicker of a chance in that exchange for a moment where it looked like he might be able to turn the whole thing back around.
Yeah, you know, he definitely wrestles through positions very well. Hidley in deep, looking to come out the back, goes that waist whizzer, but Keating holding on to that ankle on his head now, and Hidley awarded the takedown.
Hidley taking a peek at the clock just above us. 50 seconds is what he sees staring back at him. Major decision on tap unless something changes. Keating needs a takedown.
35 seconds left in this bout. A takedown would be huge to cut away another major decision for the Wolfpack. A Gadsden attempt for Keating, and he's throwing everything, including the kitchen sink at Hidley these 20 seconds.
Hidley's looked at the clock a couple of times. Can expect one more flurry from Keating.
Club right for Hidley, kind of scrambling around here.
Hand looks to be stuck in the position. Keating got close, but no cigar. And it will be a major decision to NC State. The Wolfpack pulling away 14-6 in the team score now. Yeah,
and Keating close to a takedown at the end of that bout, had that side headlock, but didn't cover the hips of Hidley. Hidley going to be your winner by major decision. 15-5 ending that bout. So NC State takes a 14-5 lead now.
blasting ahead to 165, and we get into the first of the two Bullards we expect to see for NC State. Cam Coy for Virginia. It's Thomas Bullard.
As my brother calls his twin daughters, Team Trouble, that's probably what most coaches are going to call the Bullard twins. Back-to-back 165 and 174 pounders for the Wolfpack, both top 20 in the country. But right now, Cam Coy's got a dinner date with Thomas Bullard here at 165 pounds.
This is one of those swing matchups that Virginia would have had circled trying to win this dual meet. Cam Coy's 23rd in the coaches poll, Thomas Bullard's 16th in the inaugural poll of the season.
Yeah, and both of these guys, incredible high school resumes. Coy, a three-time Pennsylvania state champ. Bullard, a four-time Georgia state champ. And won numerous national events between the two of them. Coy, one of your top recruits coming out of high school.
And he's, of course, just a redshirt freshman. Bullard, a redshirt sophomore. So a lot of bright future ahead, already ranked inside the top 25, both of them.
Yeah, and both of these guys, you know, and a beautiful low single for Bullard. Coy hops over top, looking to pass that ankle, and the referee's got to stop this. Look at that knee popping out now.
And the official does jump in, almost right on cue.
Yeah, it calls that potentially dangerous. You saw Bullard's foot start to come outside the hip, and that's where things start to get dangerous. Looking like RG3 about to tear your ACL. And a beautiful low single for Coy this time. He's got to get his head up. Sits through. Hip heist here by Bullard. Coy looking to pass the leg, but Coy's got to watch his back.
Find ourselves in another electric scramble.
And if all Coy needs to do is bring his right hand in, grab Bullard's wrist, and hit that Peterson, but he's looking for more of a scrambly finish. Bullard still looking to score here, looking to switch with that right arm.
He's trying to winch his left leg out of the grasp of Coy, and it's going to be stopped again for another stalemate. Nothing to separate these two in the first 2 minutes.
54 seconds left in this first period. Great action, some good scrambles here so far. Neither wrestler have been able to gain a substantial advantage in the scramble. And a score here would be huge for both teams. Outside shot for Bullard, hips by Coy.
I figure the way it's shaken out for Virginia, dropping one or two, it figured it might be able to pick up. And with the only 5 points on the Virginia side, a tech fall by Mueller at 125. If Virginia fails to get points out of this particular matchup, the dual meet will be sailing away pretty quickly.
Yeah, and this one is going to be huge. You know, we saw 133 and 41, kind of those swing matches on paper go in favor of the Wolfpack, and that's why they're such a great team. They always win the close matches.
Regular season champions out of the ACC and undefeated in the ACC last year. And the dual meets are a particular type of competition where you make those plays not just for yourself in the tournaments, but for your team, and you've got your whole team behind you trying to figure out whether it's a minor or major decision.
Yeah, and you know what, Coach Papalizio, you know, he had success as an athlete under one of the greatest coaches of all time, John Smith. A great mentor, and has created an incredible coaching tree throughout the country. Guys like Coleman Scott at North Carolina. You got Coach Pat Papalizio at NC State. The new Neil Ayresman down at the newest Division I program, Little Rock, Arkansas's Division I wrestling program. An escape point for Bullard brings him to a 1-0 lead 30 seconds into this period. And the coaching tree of Oklahoma State's John Smith branches out much farther.
Papalizio was number 1 in the country at 184 pounds back at the turn of the millennium.
Papalizio, you know what every athlete who has the opportunity to encounter with Papalizio just speaks about how stern he is and how, you know, passionate and and how he has everybody's back on his roster. Great coach, but he's not just building great wrestlers, great individuals, and holds his athletes to a high standard, does Coach Popolizio. Another low single for Bullard, leg pass, looking for is Coy with that opposite foot.
These two seem to finding themselves in pretzels. We almost are there again. Coy's in a little bit of trouble, though, if he can get that arm through.
And Coy's got to watch his back here. Official was looking for the danger call. Bullard comes in, and the official's got to stop this here. Look at that knee, is looking ugly. But Bullard's still looking for a takedown, and Coy trying to pass this foot.
Bullard seems intent on pursuing, even though his knee is turned upside down almost.
Bullard locks up underneath that arm, and that's going to be a takedown here, I think.
Only 3 seconds left in the period. Will it be given by the official? Coy hangs on.
Coach Popolizio.
You thinking a challenge here?
Grabs the brick and almost like a hot potato, puts it back real quick. So
try and cool the blood off and make a sound decision in the heat of the moment.
That was as close as it gets. And I thought Bullard was gonna get it, and this is where Bullard's dangerous. He is a bear on top, throwing those long, lanky legs in.
Coy did put up a bit of riding time before Bullard was able to escape, so we're about to hit 0 or 3 seconds from 0 on riding time, so that gives Coy a little extra opportunity to try and get out before conceding a point that could be pivotal.
Yeah, so Coy's got to get out before the 40-second mark in the third period to ensure that Bullard doesn't get the riding time point. So we'll see what happens. Not doing a great job of using his feet like hands, fighting the feet of Bullard out, trying to reach back, but allows Bullard to get him flat. And turning that shoulder now is Bullard.
And Coy not in a promising position with his waist elevated like that. That's the real key.
Yeah, doing a good job keeping Coy's hips flat, boots in, staying underneath the arms. 37 seconds of riding time for Bullard. So Coy's got to get out in the next 23 seconds.
And a brilliant twirl from Coy has leveled us at 1 point apiece into the final minute of regulation.
And Memorial Gym's got to get behind their freshman here. Cam Coy looking to knock off the 17th ranked sophomore. A 2017 NCAA qualifier was Bullard. And his brother, Daniel, pacing the mat right behind the Wolfpack coaching staff. And a beautiful low single for Coy. Hooks the foot, does Bullard.
It's a scramble for the entire match.
And Coy doing a good job getting his hips off the mat, looking to hip over, and his right hand's got to come across. Bullard doing a good job getting his hips up, and a great scramble by both guys.
My goodness, into the final 5 seconds, and both wrestlers will catch their breath into the extra periods for the first time tonight, my friend.
Fans at home, run to the microwave and grab your popcorn. We got overtime here. Memorial Gym's on their feet.
Fourth period, no rest for the weary. Here we go.
So sudden victory. You fans at home watching, if a takedown or any points in this bout or in this period are awarded, we'll be concluding action. After that, we'll have a series of 30-30 where both wrestlers will have the opportunity to get on the mat. But by how close we've been to takedowns at the end of both of the second and third period, I don't think these wrestlers are going to wait for...
Well, I don't think we're making it the full minute either.
Some fun action here so far. Hard collar on the left.
Virginia needs these points to stay in touch with last year's regular season ACC champions, NC State.
Low single for Coy. Again, same position. Bullard looking to hip iced here, switches through. Bullard got the inside leg of Coy. Now he's in on a high crotch. Coy passes, gets his head up, Coy looking to come out on top, but Bullard head high now. And Coy's in a position of advantage here, needs to step over the foot of Bullard.
Here comes Coy.
And
He's been given the 2, that's it.
And Memorial Gym goes bonkers.
Cam Coy wins a 165, and he didn't cut it short on the drama.
That was a fun one here. At 165, Cam Coy, your winner, 3-1.
A standing ovation for Memorial Gymnasium for the redshirt freshman Cam McCoy. Took it to an extra period, and this is what won it. 14-8 NC State over Virginia as we're getting into the heavier weights from Charlottesville. Be right back on ACC Network Extra. Massive match coming up in Charlottesville. The dual meet 14-8 NC State. Now we're at 174, and we've worked out the math, Christian, and it looks like Virginia needs points from this one, and it will be tough. Daniel Bullard for NC State, Robert Patrick for Virginia.
Yeah, and this is a huge match in terms of the duel. You know, NC State 2-1 right now in the swing matches, and this is going to be a big one here, and a beautiful double leg for Patrick. Runs his feet, quick takedown, and he said, team trouble going down today. Gives his buddy Cam Coy a pat on the back and says, let's take these Bullard boys down.
Thomas Bullard falling in the extra period, and now it's Patrick trying to pull off the upset. The true freshman, and you don't see that a ton. It's 9-13 overall this year. He's lost 6 of his last 7, but Patrick's got a big crowd behind him in Mem Gym.
Yeah, and you know, Patrick got a fall last time we were out here in Memorial Gym. Got pinned a Sujin in a sweet Gadsden. Go follow Cam Grape on Instagram. He put a sweet gif of it up there, and sitting mat side today taking photos as a former UVA wrestler sidelines due to a series of injuries, finding a way to give back to the program. You can find a great article on UVA's website about Cam Coy giving back to the Cavaliers in this time of injury. So, false start on Patrick.
Yeah, it looked like it might have been Daniel Bullard.
Yeah, Bullard looked like he flinched a little bit, but you know, Patrick gave him a little nudge too for flinching, and referee's going to call the caution on Patrick. Bullard to his feet, up and out quick.
Well, danger time for Patrick now as Bullard has an opportunity to try and reverse, and he does, to even the score at 2 apiece. And that'll push Patrick. It got up to exactly 1 minute in riding time. It'll push it back down as well.
Yeah, and you know, the funny thing is, a lot of these wrestlers on the UVA roster, Pennsylvania natives. You saw Crevis, you saw Coy, you see Patrick. NC State has zero consistency in the trends of where they're recruiting. They're getting guys from New York, Connecticut, Pennsylvania,
the Bullards from Georgia.
Yeah, I mean, you know, guys from all over the country. They do not care. They're bringing in waves. I think this year they have like 12 guys already committed to their 2019 recruiting class.
That's an industrial class coming in. The Morrises saw at 141, Jamel Morris. He's from Florida. How many wrestlers you know coming from Florida?
Yeah, well, Florida, Southeast has really been starting to build their wrestling up, and I love it, love it, love it. We've added 3 Division I programs, in the last year. We got Presbyterian College coming down in South Carolina. We got Little Rock coming to Arkansas. We got the Long Island University combining their campuses to bring their athletics to Division I. So LIU will have a Division I wrestling team, in the coming years. And then Cal Baptist coming in, I believe, 2022, if I'm not mistaken.
And bringing that West Coast in as well, so important for the wrestling community.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'd love to see the ACC continue to expand their wrestling programs with the rebirth of the conference. You see, UVA having a great year. NC State is surging. Virginia Tech, Pitt, with the staff of UVA heading to Pittsburgh, and another reversal for Patrick.
And we haven't left the mat since we went down in the first period. Reversal, and Patrick out in front 4-2, and he is starting to work on his riding time. They'll have 20 more seconds to add to it if he gets there.
And another reversal.
Oh, my goodness.
So back and forth, and 3 reversals in this period. And as I've mentioned before, finishing periods on top, right? You know, if Bullard finishes this period on top, riding time swinging in his favor. So, you know, we're going to look for a quick escape for Patrick, but
he tried to swim right out of there, but just like his twin brother, Daniel seems to be, it's just a howitzer on top, a lead weight.
Yeah, these guys are bears on top, coming from, you know, great wrestling program down in Georgia, Lawrenceville, Georgia, Archer High School. Believe they were both 4-time state champions, and we're going to take a look at this reversal here for Patrick. Gets that reversal, comes on underneath. Bullard sits through, gets to his feet, looks to swim for a Peterson, keeps swimming, catches that ankle underneath and swims through for the reversal of his own. So back-to-back reversals in that sequence. Bullard starts the period on bottom. Patrick cuts him loose. So after a period of all mat wrestling, 5-4 advantage for Bullard.
Get the feeling we might not be staying upright for too much longer. The way these two have shown a desire to be on the ground and have shown great fluidity once there.
Well, strong emphasis by Patrick in that first period to get the first takedown. And a shot and a reattack for Patrick. So if, by the eye test here, about halfway through the bout, looks like they're relatively even on the mat, and Patrick seems to have the advantage on their feet thus far.
It's something to be said with Patrick not ranked anywhere at 174.
Yeah, well, you know, as a freshman in the lineup, take 9-13 on the year so far, taking his lumps, and a body lock for Bullard on the edge. Whizzer goes Patrick, and Bullard's going to try to step this right leg in to get the boot. Look at that right foot. Patrick catches it, turns in, passes the leg, and looking for a takedown of his own, but we got some scrambling going on here. NC State coaches asking for a takedown, but
Patrick's still hanging on to that leg right
Bullard,
now.
Now Bullard looking to step over the inside leg.
It's in danger of
And
slipping out.
They're on the floor, and Patrick kicks his feet like a little kid in the pool to show the official they're out of bounds. So you can't wrestle on the hardwood.
10 more seconds to kill in the second period. 1 point lead for NC State. The riding time is 1 second in favor of Daniel Bullard. And of course, Patrick is going to start on the bottom in the third period, so he'll have an opportunity to pick up that next point, and then it's anybody's contest. We could see conceivably extra periods in consecutive matchups.
Consecutive matchups for the Bullard brothers. And
well, they'll certainly have a lot to decompress about on their way back to Raleigh.
yeah, well, it looks like Coach Garland's telling Patrick to start neutral. I think he's well aware of how tough Bullard is on top. So we got a little bit of blood time here cleaning up Bullard. Patrick telling the official he's going to take neutral, so he's going to have 2 minutes to get a takedown, and both of those guys relatively close to scoring in the second period.
That would have been the against the clock race we saw earlier on in this dual meet, where Patrick would have had 59 seconds to stand up before conceding the extra point in riding time anyways. So instead of trying to stand up in the first 59 seconds, so not starting neutral.
Yeah, well, I guess he changed his mind going bottom. He, was confident that he can get out within the minute.
So I just accidentally explained the situation we have at hand to you, Patrick.
So left hand got a half for Patrick. Boot in on the right side now. Reinforces it, got that figure 4. So we're going to see a stall or we're going to see a stalemate here. We'll see what we get. Looking to punch the bar on the left side now. Stall warning on Patrick, and riding time ticking towards that 1 minute.
At 40 seconds right now, so at 1:01, it will be the extra point in riding time for Daniel Bullard.
So Bullard looking to hip across, cross facing, looking for that good old safe leg. And riding time going towards 1 minute. And this is where Coach Garland's biting his tongue a little bit, telling Patrick to go bottom. And that's the difficulties lots of freshmen have transitioning to Division I wrestling.
We got some blood on the shoulder again. I think I'm going to call a stalemate.
And the NC State coaching staff scratching their head a little bit over here. They wanted another stall call.
Well, they're going to have to stop it for the blood sooner rather than later. It's just a cut on the back of the left shoulder of Daniel Bullard, and it won't be stopping the bleeding anytime soon, but you can just patch it up as best as you can to try and get through 44 seconds of wrestling.
Yeah, and you see the Paulson brothers over there, Matt's side for UVA, advocating for the official to, I mean, you know, kind of saying, hey, you know, why are you letting him ride so much? And Coach Garland getting the official's ear. Might not be his best bet after he's already been warned for questioning the official. Could be a team point next one.
Well, it's always pushing the envelope in the name of the game. How hard to ride the officials as a coach.
Well, it is a little comical to see, you know, some of the reactions we get, and that's the second caution for for Patrick. So let's be wary of the fact that the next one is a point. So
Patrick's going to be extra cautious in his jump on the whistle.
Absolutely. Sits through. Bullard looking to throw that boot in, looking to sneak it in on the right, now looking to sneak it in on the left.
Patrick has 30 seconds to get to his feet or throw in a reversal. That riding time means an escape just by itself will not be enough for Patrick and Virginia. NC State trying to polish off the duel.
And Patrick got that foot underneath, did a good job, but didn't switch his hips. So Coach Garland, you know, got to be biting his tongue a little bit here after this bout, as you saw Patrick wanting to go neutral to start the third. We're going to go out of bounds, 5-5. I think we're going to have about 3 seconds left on the clock.
No, there will be about 3 seconds. I happen to look up just at the moment. And Patrick would need a miraculous reversal in 3 seconds to send us to an extra period. As with the 5-4 lead and the extra riding time point, Daniel Bullard's looking at a 6-4 advantage total.
So if I'm Patrick, unfortunate, you know, you think you could have won that one if you go on your feet, so.
It was a near-run thing, to be sure, but the win to Daniel Bullard and half of the Bullard pairing picks up points for NC State. That puts it at 17-8 in this dual meet, and you figure that might just about do it with what we have coming up.
Yeah, we got Nick Reenan here, product of Texas, but Wyoming Seminary Prep School was the high school for Nick Reenan, coached by the great Scott Green, incredible high school coach at Wyoming Seminary. And Nick Reenan made it to Final X last year, the final leg of qualifying for the senior world team before falling to eventual world champion David Taylor in a headlock. Nick Reenan.
A lot of upper body strength from McClure just to get out of
and
that.
That's a
flashy
fall.
stuff.
He's got it. Oh, that was tight. Silences the crowd. And Reenan looking around like, what you got for me, brother? So
that is the best feeling in sports right there. A little shrug of the hand says, what do you want? Are you not entertained?
31 seconds is all it took.
Nick Reenan with a big-time pin to all but cinch the duel as we head into the final two weights. We're going to take a quick break first. This is just top class from
Body
Reenan.
lock for Reenan, goes lefty headlock, and the firepower of the hips, and gets the fall right here as he gets that head high and pins McClure. We're headed to a break on ACC Network Extra.
NC State has methodically pulled away from Virginia 23-8 here in Charlottesville, but the Central Virginians not quite done. One of the matchups you highlighted in the pre-match setup. It's the 197s, McDonald and Aiello.
So two top 20 guys going at it. McDonald, number 20 in the nation for the Wolfpack. Jay Aiello, number 8 in the nation for the Cavaliers. Slide by for McDonald, quick. Gets the takedown on Aiello.
McDonald's got 2 extra years of experience. He's a 5th-year senior out of Hope Mills, North Carolina. So both of these wrestling for schools in their native states, because Aiello is a redshirt sophomore out of Chantilly, Virginia.
Yeah, and Coach Popolizio done wonders for what you would expect out of the state of North Carolina. Had a national champion in Mike Machiavello at this weight class last season for the Wolfpack. Defeated Jared Haught of UVA in an incredibly close bout. A native of North Carolina was Machiavello. Does a great job boosting what this program is doing down in Raleigh. A beautiful lefty single for Jay Aiello, and this is where he makes his money, looking to cut the corner. And he's got to get that foot high. He does, shelves it on his inside hip, and got to watch his foot here as Aiello does a good job capturing that far foot and finishing. 2-point takedown, 3-2 lead for Aiello.
Powered right through McDonald, who's trying to escape, run everybody out of the cylinder. You mentioned the growing of North Carolina wrestling. That's something NC State's really pulled off in a huge way recently, landing the trials for the Worlds.
Yeah, and that's, we had the opportunity to listen to Coach Popolizio talk about that, and he's saying what it means for the state of North Carolina, NCUSA Wrestling, getting the bid to host the 2019 World Team Trials Challenge Tournament at Reynolds Coliseum, where NC State has hosted 2 dual meets. So a deep double leg for McDonald, hips by Aiello, not enough, and gets the takedown. 5-3 lead now for McDonald. 3 takedowns back and forth between these athletes.
And we have certainly been treated to some excellent action in this dual meet, and all of the matchups that we highlighted seem to be the explosive ones. It's great when we look like we know what we're talking about.
Yeah, and that's, what did they say? Fake it till you make it, right? So both of these guys done a great job, providing action for us so far. But one thing that really stands out to me in this duel right now is NC State wins every single swing match, except for that 165-pound bout. But, they won it at 133. They won it at 141. And then at 165, UVA able to sneak one out in overtime. But 74, they win it, right? And right now, they've got the advantage at 197. So escape for Aiello.
The riding time not a factor yet. It's 40 seconds to McDonald, so it is a clean 5-4.
Lefty high crotch of Aiello, finishing a bit unconventionally, looking to cut the corner, catch that far hip. Now Aiello looking for near fall, and he's really, really good on top. He does a really good job getting his bar on the left side, or he throws a half on the left, throws his left foot in or outside, a little bit unique. But Aiello really, really tough on top.
Well, that's why he's on your fantasy team, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Jay Aiello, a member of Boats and Headgear Throws. So Jay Aiello holding down the helm for my fantasy team at 197. Earned that spot by beating Nathan Traxler of Stanford not once but twice at the Las Vegas Cliff Keen invite.
Aiello with 4 wins against top 15 wrestlers this season. Another over the 18th wrestler, Eric Schultz of Nebraska.
Yeah, and he had a good win a few weeks ago against Ohio. Got a major decision. And Aiello, an incredible athlete, was a state champion football player at Westfield High School. Was Mr. Virginia for football in the class of 2017. Another deep double leg for McDonald. Better job giving him some hips this time. Does Aiello. looking to scoot the corner now, and he does a really good job swimming that left hand inside and scooting the corner, looking to hook that far leg.
He just yanked McDonald back onto the mat. Now he's found himself in a promising position with McDonald hanging onto the ankles.
And a good scramble here. High hips are going to win. The heavy hips of Aiello looking to be a little too much for McDonald so far in this scramble. And looks like Aiello is going to say, let's start this one fresh. Shoots him out of bounds.
7-5 with 50 seconds left in the second period. This has been a back and forth affair, and we are just halfway through.
Yeah, really good action so far. 12 points on the board. No shortage of offense. Lefty high crotch again. Below the knee of McDonald is Aiello right now. Does a good job elevating, and he's going to win this scramble here as he's keeping his head high.
Strong legs from McDonald to be able to keep a lock over the shoulder of Aiello.
And putting him in danger. McDonald going to give that one up. Aiello extends his lead 9-5 now.
Strong work from Aiello, who's leaned on McDonald, scorer of 6 straight points. Jay Aiello down 5 in the first period.
And Aiello got that inside wrist now, switches off, gets a deep tight waist with his right hand, chops and gets that wrist underneath.
That'll do it for the second period, 9-5. Jay Aiello over Malik McDonald.
Aiello finishes that period on top, and Coach Garland fired up. You know, you got to start thinking bonus points here for Aiello.
There's an opportunity, even though NC State has already wrapped the dual meet up, there's an opportunity for Virginia to make this one look very good for the onlookers in terms of the total score.
What do they call that? Padding the stats a little bit, right? You know, Aiello doing a little bit of damage control for the Cavaliers. This one got away from him with that fall for Reenan. You know, what? Unfortunately, 2 pins would not give UVA the win. And what many people thought was an injured Nick Reenan after his bout against NC State kind of hobbled around the mat a bit against the nation's top 184-pounder Miles Martin.
No love lost between McDonald and Aiello, getting in each other's way just a little bit on the way back onto the mat.
Yeah, Zealand, this is not ballet. These two guys are pushing each other around a little bit, showing each other, you know, I guess who's the alpha on the mat today. But so far through 5 minutes, Jay Aiello looks to be that man. McDonald
wasted about 1.5 seconds before trying to attack once he'd gotten up. These wrestlers have a lot left in the tank. McDonald knows he needs to go.
Heavy snap, Aiello looking to cut the corner and re-attack. Beautiful swing single, already got the angle. Just needs to catch that left foot of McDonald before he tries to swing around. Jay Aiello head high here. Wraps, and he's kind of back in this position we were at in the second on the edge, but wraps up the ankles, does McDonald. Stalemate here, 1 minute left in the bout.
Of course, McDonald needs more than those stalemates now if he's going to come back.
Yeah, and he's going to need, you know, what it looks like to be 2 takedowns here, takedown and near fall, something of that nature. Got to get to his offense. Attack by McDonald. Heavy snap by Aiello. A beautiful double. Got to pop his hips.
Aiello, McDonald doing a nice job of working his way to the border. Has an opportunity to escape, but Aiello with the upper body strike. Oh my! Now. And he's got a chance to pin him.
And that's how you see how strong Aiello is. Just grabs the chin and whips him over.
Sustained pressure on the top of McDonald. Mim Jim has risen. Is there something to cheer about even though NC State's walking out with the dual victory?
Yeah, and this is a moral victory here for the Cavs.
15 seconds to pin him in the final period. McDonald, you see the struggle. Can he keep himself up? Aiello's leaning on him and he got it.
For Aiello. Oh, and pushes him off, does McDonald. A little bit chippy there, but
they gave everything they had, but it was Jay Aiello that brought the house to its feet at 197.
Yeah, and that's a big win for Aiello. Gets the fall, smells blood in the water. And a big hug from Coach Garland. Let's take a look at this one right here. Aiello got the ankle. His right hand's gonna slip up to the head. Got that seatbelt on with the left hand and just kind of bulldogs it over here. No pun intended for the Westfield Bulldog. Was Aiello.
McDonald was all about the defense, and Aiello, the celebration on top of McDonald, and that's what prompted the afters as well. But Aiello, you mentioned, is an apex predator in all competition. Now for the heavyweights, and this is a matchup you figure Virginia might have an advantage. It's Colin Lawler for NC State, Tyler Love for Virginia, because NC State has been going back and forth between Lawler and Deontay Wilson at the heavyweight.
Yeah, and these two guys, even records, both, both 15-8. Neither have really had substantial results in dual meets, where Lawler 0-3, Wilson 6-6 so far in this, in this season. So NC State looking for their guy at heavyweight.
Virginia has its guy in Love. He's 5-4 in dual meets, 11-6 overall.
Love earned a national qualifying bid last year via the ACC championships, and Love, an undersized heavyweight, gets warned for stalling as Lawler does a great job pushing him towards the out of bounds line as Love takes a shot. But as I was saying, Love, not the largest guy in the gym.
They wrestled at 197. It went 8-2 this year at 197.
Yeah, kind of. He made his way back down after he kind of realized that his teammate Jay Aiello was the guy, top 10 in the country. Had some great experience so far this year, and realizes that this is his best opportunity to provide some points for his team at the ACC and NCAA championships. So, not too much action here so far, and what I really liked out of Tyler Love last time we were at Memorial Gym, he did a great job of creating angles, using his speed to get around his opponent real quick on those swing singles. So heavy hands is Tyler Love so far in this bout. Clubbing with that left. Lawler fights in on the right. And one thing Tyler Love does is he reaches a little bit too much when he's going to club with that left hand.
And what does that open him up to? Something that Lawler can look to
Well,
exploit.
yeah, he's leaving his legs wide open and good fakes. Using his speed, again, is Love faking, coming up. Faking low, coming high, faking low, coming high, getting his opponent to react. And that's when, the third period, we're at 1-1. You're going to see an advantage here and an opportunity to post that up. What had Love, but doesn't capitalize here, and you could tell there's a little bit of a size advantage here for Lawler.
Freshman came out of his red shirt this year, January 6th, against Ohio State. Before that, Deontay Wilson was the only heavyweight NC State was riding. Uneventful opening period. Now we'll get to the second and third, where points have to be scored.
Let's see what we got for choice here. Lawler going to choose bottom to start the second. Tyler Love, the product of Centerville High School in that northern part of Virginia, Fairfax, Centerville area. Tyler Love was a two-time state champion in high school, Beast of the East finalist.
And that's the amazing thing. When we're talking about even the wrestlers that aren't nationally ranked and grabbing the headlines when we're prepping for these dual meets. I mean, if you're able to compete for one of these ACC schools in a dual meet, you were a big-time wrestler in high school, best of the best.
Absolutely, and every single person on these rosters was probably the best wrestler at their high school, unless someone goes to a different college or they're on the, on their team. But, all these guys have had success at some point or another within their careers. Tyler Love had the opportunity to compete for Prestige Worldwide Wrestling, took a fifth-place finish home from the national championships in 2015 to the state of Virginia. So heavy club on the right. A beautiful re-attack does Love. Gets in deep, but you see kind of the size playing in here as Love still beefing back up to be a heavyweight.
And Lawler was able to just swat it away and stay on his feet. A 1-point advantage that Love will have the opportunity to return, but we haven't seen what Lawler's size can do when he's on top, and you figure that might be where we start in the third period.
Oh, absolutely. That's definitely going to play a factor in this. Love didn't choose bottom against Ohio, and a noticeably larger heavyweight he was wrestling against. So I'm curious to see after these 35 ticks of the clock, when we head to the third period, who's going to choose bottom, or excuse me, what Love's choice will be.
You were here for that Ohio duel, and Love won 6-5 against Zach Parker.
Yeah, defeated another national qualifier. A big win for Love up at heavyweight. So had a pretty good season so far at 97, but that was probably his marquee win of the year at heavyweight.
Lawler also picked up a win against one of Ohio's heavyweights, Jordan Ernest. That was 3-2 at the Appalachian State Open, where he finished second place. Also beat Ragland of Virginia Tech.
Head into the third period. Tyler Love will choose bottom. And a freshman here for NC State going to be on top. We're going to see what his riding is like.
You think that's why Love goes bottom? Says, well, I might just be able to outsmart this freshman.
I think so. You know, it's got to play a factor into it. That's got to be a stall call. He gets to his feet and Lawler just pushes him out of bounds. UVA coaches not too happy about that one. Thought it should have been a stall call, but that's why I'm not wearing the stripes today.
Suit and tie fits well enough.
Gets to his feet, does Love, looks for a switch, tries to roll through, and the NC State coach is looking for a quick count here.
Riding time kicking off once control was asserted. It's up to 10 seconds now, 11. You see it on your screen, and if that gets to 1 minute, it's the extra point Lawler needs to try and see things through.
So we're up at 20 seconds now, and Love's head on the mat.
He's definitely faster than Lawler. We've known that the entire time, but that speed just hasn't been able to escape the heavy hands.
And looking for a little bit of a fat man roll there. Love hooks the elbow, tries to roll him through, getting out of bounds.
Almost might be better for Love to go back to the middle, because that opening second or two on the restart seems to be his best chance to get out.
Yeah, absolutely. He can't let Lawler win the first move. Love's got to get a good first move, get to his feet, create some momentum, so it's a little bit easier for him to get to his feet.
And we've seen a lot of cautions go to Virginia today. It's another one, and that one was certainly Love.
Yeah, so that was a caution. He got a little too ambitious there.
Love has gotten to his feet, but again, it's going to be pushed on out.
And that's a textbook stall call. Great job by the official warning Lawler. So 42 seconds of riding time. We've got to keep an eye on that here. Love's got to get out in the next 18 seconds to ensure that Lawler doesn't get that in his favor. Now his Memorial Gym fans looking to get behind him. Look like he locked hands for a second. Love looks to switch.
Well,
gets
Love
to his feet. Love
almost out.
Looking to switch. Now Love steps over, looking for a reversal. Great job on the edge. Does Love, gets the switch, gets a reversal. Now, NC State, I call that the YOLO brick. You know, your last match of the duel, less than a minute to go. What do you got to lose, right?
I figure, but it looked like a pretty clear reversal. To be fair, when the brick came in from the NC State bench, it was much more up in the air, but right after that brick had come in, the reversal was essentially completed in a fairly obvious fashion by Love.
Yeah, I mean, that was 100% a reversal. I think maybe what Coach Popolizio is trying to challenge is the fact that my two guesses are, number one, they went out of bounds at some point, or number two, that the official awarded the reversal prematurely, therefore they must go back to that point and would not be a reversal. So I think he's looking for a little bit of politics in this one.
He's trying to pick at the letter of the law, and he could, in my opinion, have a case, because when that brick came in, It looked like just maybe we have the same point of view as the camera you're looking at right now. It looked like Lawler might have still had hold of one of Love's legs when the brick came in.
So they're not out of bounds here, so that's not what he's challenging. Let's take a look here, right? So Love's gonna go to switch, gets to his feet. Lawler drops the leg, Love switches, hooks that foot. When he gets that left hip up, that's a reversal underneath the arm. Love's got it.
We can't see when it's awarded, to be fair. I believe it was awarded when he still had a hold of the leg.
I think the officials are going to say enough of your shenanigans, Pat, and let's move on with it.
But as you said, it's a use it or you lose it challenge, so you might as well force the officials into that kind of decision. It's good coaching situationally for Pat Papalizio.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, you've had 9 bouts to this point. You haven't had to use it, so like I said, YOLO, right? You throw the brick and let's get on with it.
Hashtag.
Hashtag YOLO. So
the dual score 23-14. So that, of course, out of reach. But we've had pins going both directions. The crowd treated to a spectacle of pins at 184, then 197.
Yeah, and somebody there, you know, expecting to get out of here a little bit earlier with those 2 pins, but you know, this one basically gives us back all the time that we lost in those 2 pins. So this challenge, the officials are going to say, no, sir, not today. You're going down, Mr. Lawler. So get down. You got 45 seconds to get out, right? So
that's the idea. Riding time not playing a factor. And, of course, Lawler is just a bigger dude than Love is.
Yeah, and an escape point will send us to overtime like we saw at 165 pounds. But this is where I want to see the leadership of Tyler Love. But I bite my tongue on that one. He doesn't get it. Lawler looks like he's trying to be a heavyweight here and just push Love around. Love does a great job dropping to a swing single.
Exiting the cylinder once more. There's 21 seconds. Riding time not a factor. If somebody gets a takedown, they're going to win.
So we'll see if we head to bonus time here. Heavy hands by Lawler. Love hits that beautiful misdirection low single. Moving like a 25-pounder. He's got to pop that knee off to secure the takedown. And that's a takedown if he gets that arm out. And he's going to get it. Send Memorial Gym home on their feet. A moral victory for the Cavaliers, taking the last 2 bouts of the duel. But
there's your senior leadership from Tyler Love. It'll be NC State, though, 23-17, despite Virginia's valiant effort to make it close. It was the Wolfpack all the way. What's your summation of what we've seen?
Yeah, so what it was here, the difference was the swing matches here, right? 3-3 in favor of NC State, but they had those big guns at 49 and 57. They're 2 All-Americans. Were really what made the difference in this bout. But really, 33, 41, and 74, those matches that UVA was not able to take home are difference in this bout.
That's going to do it for us. For Sean Fulton back in the studio, the wrestling philosopher Christian Olenowski to my right, and the rest of the crew, I'm Zeeland Shannon saying thanks and so long from Mim Gym in Charlottesville, Virginia, where NC State wins a tight one, 23-17, and holds up to its top 10 ranking. To watch this entire game on replay, as well as other games in our family of ESPN Networks, log on to watchespn.com or download the Watch ESPN app. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports.